Have you ever wondered why Mary and Joseph could not get a room at the inn to stay that first Christmas? No? Well, I will tell the answer. They could not get a room at the inn because it was Christmas and they just walked in. They should have booked ahead, right? It is just a joke to begin my homily this weekend, but we all know that Christmas is always a very busy season of the year, and Christmas gets places and people super busy, doesn't it? And believe it or not, there are 3 more days to Christmas. And this weekend, as I mentioned from the beginning of Mass, is the last weekend of Advent, the culmination of Advent. And for us as Catholics, the closer to Christmas, the more prominent the Blessed Virgin Mary appears in the liturgy of Advent. This is because Mary plays a very important role in the mysteries of incarnation and salvation. And just for a quick clarification that we as Catholics, we do not worship Mary. We venerate her though. We venerate her, we ask her to intercede for us. And in a very special way this weekend, the Gospel speaks of Mary's visitation to Elizabeth. So naturally and socially, many women would refuse to do hard physical work if they were expecting a child. They would say that they have a duty to themselves and their unborn baby, which came before anything or anyone else. However, our Blessed Virgin is different. The Mother of God considered no such things, and getting the words from the angel Gabriel that Elizabeth, her cousin, was going to have a child. Mary rose up and went to visit her cousin, even though Christ was growing in her. It is incredible to all of us, but I think it is characteristic of Mary. And Luke beautifully writes that Mary set out and traveled to the hill country in haste to a town of Judea. How lyrical that is, my dear sisters and brothers. The opening sequence of Luke's descriptions of the visitation. We can feel the rush of warmth and kindness, the sudden urgency of love and care, and the strength of faith and trust that send a young pregnant lady hurrying over the hills. And after probably 4 days of traveling on foot from Nazareth, which is in northern Israel, to a village in Judea, southern Israel, Mary came to the house of Zacharias, to the house of Elizabeth. And when Mary greeted Elizabeth, at the sound of her voice, John the Baptist quickened in his mother's womb and leaped for joy. Did you notice a tribute to Mary's faith, love, and kindness in the words of Elizabeth? For at the moment the sound of your greeting reached my ears, the infant in my womb leaped for joy. And Elizabeth also says something very special to Mary too. That is, blessed art thou among women. Blessed are you among women. Yes, indeed, Mary is blessed, truly blessed. But what makes Mary blessed among women and all humankind? In other words, what makes Mary so unique among us and in the histories of salvation? Is it because of her own merits? No. Is it because she is the smartest or the most beautiful girl? No. Is it because of her faith, love, or any other virtue? Not really. So what? What makes Mary so unique in the histories of salvation? I believe what makes Mary blessed and unique among us in the history of salvation, first and foremost, is God. And there's a proverb in Latin that I learned back in the day when I was in seminary. And even though my Latin now is just like your Vietnamese, but I would try to read it. And somebody who are expert in Latin here can correct me if I'm wrong, so please bear with me. And the proverbs in Latin is causa causae est causa causate. Causa causae est causa causate, which is translated in English is the cause of a cause is the cause of what is called. Do you get it? Maybe one more time. The cause of a cause is the cause of what is called. So in this case, just as Elizabeth says to Mary, blessed is the fruit of thy womb. Everything that Mary has come from her son, come from Jesus Christ, the Lord. So the cause of Mary's blessedness is not from Mary herself, not from her own, but from her son who causes her, who created her. Put another way, Mary would be normal and remain ordinary if she did not bear the Son of God. However, God needs Mary's consent to. God needs Mary's cooperation too. And that is to say, God would not be able to make Mary blessed if she did not cooperate with God's grace, if she did not say yes to God's will. That's why, in addition to God's grace, Mary's fiat, Mary's yes, may it be done to me according to thy word, is the motivator of everything that Mary has. Mary's life is bound together by that fiat, and from that fiat, her life receives its meaning and form, and unfolds towards past and present. And her fiat, be it done to me according to thy word, is turned over to her son and rest in him. And from there, from that foundation, Mary's fiat devolves upon all of us, all believers. It becomes a model of openness and trust as we seek to live intentionally and faithfully as disciples of Jesus. It becomes the model of all Christian discipleship and fellowship. And it becomes a property of the church in the form of the prayer to the Father. So in a nutshell, God's grace and the great fiat, or Mary's total submission to God's will, make Mary always blessed. God is with her always. In other words, God chose Mary to be God's bearer, to be the mother of God, but at the same time, God also needs Mary to totally submit to God's will, to let God be in charge of her life. God also chooses us, my dear sisters and brothers, to be his blessed children, to be a blessed wife or husbands, father or mother or daughter or sons or priest or deacon, etc., you name it. God chose us to be blessed. However, God needs one thing from us. That is, God needs our cooperation. God needs our total submission to his will. So do we dare to learn from Mary to cooperate with God by living out our faith intentionally and faithfully in our daily lives? Do we dare to learn from Mary to submit to God's will by truly and honestly allowing God to be in charge of our lives? And do we dare to learn from Mary to courageously and enthusiastically share our blessed needs by bringing Jesus out of this church, out of that tabernacle, to our houses, our neighborhoods, our schools, our workplaces? More than 2,000 years ago, out of love and kindness, the Blessed Virgin Mary was not afraid of hardship and challenges to walk almost 4 days to bring the good news, the joy of salvation to her cousin family and to the whole of humanity. Today, let each one of us, let you and me, let us open our eyes and our hearts to others, at least to all those who form our families, and to all those who live at the edge of existence, namely the poor, the disabled, the homeless, the immigrants, and the outcasts. Let us have that willingness of Mary to heal their wounds, soothe them with consoling oil, bandage them with mercy, and treat them with kindness and respect. And let us learn from our beloved Mother to lovingly bring the joy of God's salvation to everyone, especially those people. And when Christ is growing in us, when we are at peace, recollected, because we know that however insignificant our lives seem to be, from it, Christ is forming himself. When we go with eagerness, with haste to wherever our circumstances compel us, because we believe that Christ desires us to be in that place, we shall find that we are driven more and more to act on the impulse of his love. And the answer, my dear brothers and sisters, the answer we shall get from others to those impulses will be an awakening into life, or the live into joy of the already awakened life within them. Our salvation is at hand. Let us go for it.